as you know, what we are going to be talking about is how do we thrive in relentless pursuit of a career excellence, how to reach the pinnacle, and when we get there, how to consistently deliver peak performance. Yeah, so about me, I think our speaker has done the justice about that. Sorry about that. Okay. I've joined the justice about that. So I'm currently a professor in computer science department. My educational journey has taken me through a lot of places, from Nigeria to South Africa. When I finished in Nigeria, I got a scholarship to go to South Africa. Then from South Africa to Europe, then to America, here to Florida, then come back to New England region. So now let's start. Because of our time, one thing I want us to know, since we are talking about excellence, is that excellence is not cheap. There is a price to pay for excelling in anything that we choose in our lives. So now, if we now say that, okay, if I don't want to choose excellence, the opposite of excellence is mediocrity. So there is also a price for that too. And to illustrate that, I'm going to use this picture. I like this picture a lot, and I'm showing it to some of my students. So now, this is a person that is trying to reach a summit, a position where there is easy life. Now, this person has two choices. He can either make an hard decision, pay the price to achieve excellence in life, or he can choose the easy way around. And believe me, the default choice for flesh is easy way around. So now, what I want you to focus on is that no matter the decision we make, we can either pay the price now or we pay the price later. So if you pay the price now, initially it may be very difficult, but eventually it's going to be easier. That's number one. Now, if you pay the price, now if you say, I don't want to pay the price now, I don't want to study, I want to enjoy life, I want to join my friends, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. It's okay. You may think the life is easier. You may see your friend is studying, your friend is attending seminar, your friend is doing that, your friend is meeting new people, networking, and you are just playing video games or doing any other thing. Believe me, you will pay the price later. It's going to lead to hard life. So what I will tell us is this. Just like Moses told the children of Israel, that I put before you life or death. It's our choice. So just know that there is no way out. You pay the price now or you pay the price later. Let's continue. Now, one thing, since I've already said that excellence demand a cost. It's not cheap. So I also want to sound a note of warning. We can also go to the extra. There are two spectrums. One side, ready to pay the price at all costs, irrespective of anything. That is also a danger. So I will tell us that beware of temptation to sacrifice other areas of our lives in pursuing of career excellence. We need to be balanced. In fact, in the Bible, as a Christian, I'm talking to a Christian audience. True excellence is only in God, as in Joshua 1. So just keep that at the back of your mind. You cannot say, okay, I need to study all the time. I need to forgo my church responsibility. I need to forgo my family responsibility. I just need to focus and pay the price for excellence. Now, you may get the excellence and then what? So that is the kind of introduction I want us to. Now, so I want to ask a question. How many of you have had this quote before? Everybody has a plan until. So who can just? I want us to be interactive a little bit. Who can complete this sentence for me? Everybody has a plan until. If you want, you can just unmute and speak. If you want to. Okay, we assume that we don't know. So this is a popular saying by Mike Tyson. He's a very popular boxer. So he said everybody has a plan until they get it in the face. Now, I'm not encouraging violence, but there's something I want us to know. So how do we apply this to our life? Is everybody has a plan until reality hits us in the face. So that is what we should know. So now, if you are here, you plan. This is where you are going. destination. This is what we see. But if we zoom in, this is the reality. Okay? The plan does not always go according to plan. So from this beginning to where our destination, where our intended target is, there is a lot of valleys, there is the forest, there is this, on the river, there's even a bridge. And when we are looking at the destination afar, we thought we are already there. There's a valley already there. So what I'm telling us is that when we plan, let us create know that the way we plan, I want to become a doctor. I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to do this, I want to do that, does not necessarily go according to plan. Does that mean we should not plan? No. Does that mean we should not pursue? No, as we are going to talk about it now. So, but one thing I also want us to know is that this happens to both Christians and non-Christians. Whatever challenge we face is not, we don't monopolize challenge. A lot of things happens to us, happens to other people at the same time. Now, what matters, we are going to discuss later on, is our attitude to the challenge that we face. How do we handle it? Do we put our hand in the sand and just ignore everything around us? No. So, now, one thing I want us to make sure is this, I'm not scaring anyone. A lot of people have passed through this challenge. Even unbelievers will pass through this challenge too. And people that excel, they pass through this challenge and they get to their destination. So next, I want to now zoom in into this picture. I want to label some part of this picture. I like this picture also. There's a lot of variation of this picture online if you want to Google it. So now, if you look at this picture over here, there are three things I want us to focus on. There's a pursuer, that's you, that's me. Okay, we want to get to something. Now, also, there is a target, that is career or career excellence. Now, there's a path to follow. Now, you may think, let me say, you can decide the target you want. You can decide the height of the mountain you want to climb. This is you. You can decide to start or not. But the only thing that we don't have power over is the path, because we cannot decide what will happen to us along this path. And we are going to discuss that also later. Now, so one thing I want us to understand is this. A path to career excellence is tough. Now, that means that we need to focus our attention into choosing the target. And I want us to pay attention to this. The target must be worth taking the sacrifice that we are going to pass through. You must choose your target so that it's worth paying the price. So I'm going to focus first on the target first by telling you that begin with the end in mind. Before you start pursuing any excellence, you have to decide, what mountain am I going to climb? I'm kind of generalizing, but in here, because of what we are doing today, our focus is career excellence. So what career do you want to pursue? Now, that everybody can pursue the career, how do you define the excellence of that career? Now, I want us to focus on three things. First, you need to define a clear goal and target. You need to say, okay, I want to become this. I want to become that. I want to become a professor. I like teaching. My goal was to start teaching. Now, I wanted to, because when I got to this country, I wanted to start teaching. I started teaching in public school. I realized that's not what I want. Then I move on to community college. I realized I want to teach in 4-year college, and I go get my PhD, then I go for my PhD. So you need to decide what is excellent to you. After that, you need to develop what I call a career or excellence statement by writing it down. And you have to be specific. And a lot of people have a SMART goal. You have to be specific. The next point is you have to be measurable. So let's start with specific. You have to be clear about it. I want to become a professor in 6 years. After I become a professor, I want to write this number of papers. I want to get my tenure at this number of years. I want to do this. If you want to go into business, I want to be a real estate developer. I want to have this number of rental property in 5 years, in 10 years. I want my cash flow to be this. So you need to develop a career or excellence statement. And also you need to decide what are the milestones, what are the goals in goals, what are the goals that you can evaluate that in 2 years, I need to get my associate degree. In 4 years, I need to get my BSc. Okay, if I want to go to medical school, in this, I need to do this. So you need to have milestones. And there's a reason for that. Because this journey can be exhausting at the same time. It has a toll, sometimes emotionally. You need to celebrate as we are going to look at it. So now, before I move on, I want to pay attention to something, especially for our young undergraduate students. Don't waste time to choose your career. I've been, as a professor and an advisor to a lot of students in my university. Some students, it is when they are in their junior year that they will realize that they have not decided what they want to study. That is wrong. I mean, in Nigeria, you're expected to know what you want to do before your SS1. That's also very extreme. So, but what I want you to do is that don't wait. I will encourage you that by the first year of college, even before you get to first year of college, at least have an idea of what you want to do. In computer science, we always encourage students that decide early because we want you to go for internship so that you put yourself in a better position to get a job. So that's number one. Number two, career statement is a living document. It's not fixed. You can modify it at a specific point in your life. You can change it. You can increase it. Also, broaden your career scope. For people like us that study mathematics, space is like a set. So don't limit yourself to 4-year college only. There are a lot of careers in America that you can make it. You can be an entrepreneur. You can have franchises. You can be a real estate developer. You can do a lot of things. So don't limit yourself. Don't narrow your scope that I need to go to school. I need to do this. I need to do that. There's a lot of people that are making it in America that only have associate degree. Don't limit yourself. So that's it. So let's move on because of our time. Now, one thing I want to focus on, how do you choose a career quickly? So from now you will see I'll be putting some quotes on the left-hand side of myself. Is that do what you love and love what you do. Now, I can't give you everything you need to take into consideration before you can choose your career or to evaluate the career you are in now. But I'm going to give you 2 things to consider. That as much as it's possible, whatever career you want to do, love it. Or you can learn to love it. That's it. Because the journey to career excellence is difficult to be excel in whatever you are doing if you don't love it. So that is number one. Number two, so I will also quote this Steve Jobs statement that the only way to do great work is to love what you do. That's Steve Jobs. So that's the founder of Apple. Next, what is this other consideration? And this is very, very important. When student comes to me, this is what I tell them. Whatever you do, if you love it only and it cannot take care of your needs, you will be frustrated. Whatever you do must also generate sufficient cash flow to meet your needs. And this is very, very important. A lot of people like to dance. I've seen a student that is in theater, studying theater in Clark University. And it is when he gets to the final year, he realized that he cannot get the money he needs to take care of himself. Then he started taking some classes in computer science. At that point, it's too late. So what I want you to do is that love what you do, choose what you love, but don't be blinded by emotion only. Be reasonable. Make sure that whatever you choose can generate sufficient cash flow, sufficient salary to take care of your need. And I make some map here. What are the cash flow for? Cash flow is to take care of your past. You borrow money, student loan, but you must be able to pay it back. Next, it must take care of your present. It must take care of your current needs. People like us that have people that depends on us, we must be able to take care of them. And finally, it also must take care of your future need, which is maybe retirement. You want to buy a car. You want to save money for down payment. That cash flow must be able to take care of that. So don't just, most of Nigerian parents will like always go and be a doctor. What we are looking at is that we want you to do something that can generate cash flow for you. And in America, you also want to do what you love, but try to be in this middle. Try as much as possible. Find what you love that can generate sufficient cash flow to take care of your needs. Now, I will zoom in on this picture again. I want to tell you something. There's a hole I have here, and I have a shovel. Why is it very important for us to have a sufficient cash flow to take care of our needs? Look at your need like a whole. And the salary or cash flow that you generate is like a shovel. The bigger, if all things considered, if we normalize everything, the bigger your salary, the bigger your cash flow that you generate, the more you can easily fill the hole of your needs. Now, let me look at each of the components of this picture quickly. If somebody comes to me as a professor and say, Professor, they call me Professor O in school. Professor O, I like to do this, but I cannot get enough salary for it. What should I do? I will say, okay, let's look at the math equation. You have a need, but the income is not enough to take care of it. So what you do is that you need to shrink your need to meet your income. So if you have a high taste, know that, but if you choose a career that is not going to generate sufficient need to meet your lifestyle, you are not doing anything wrong, but you just need to lay your bed according to your size. That's number one. Or you can get side hustle. It's also possible. Now, if I want to get a side hustle, I will get a side hustle that is related to my main career. I can get the adjunct position. If I want to teach in community college now, and the money they are giving me is not enough for me. When I was going to school, when I got married and I was going to school, I couldn't work like that. I have like 3 teaching jobs that I was doing. So you can get that to take care of your need. Now, another thing is, what about if I generate cash flow, but I'm miserable in what I'm doing? The question I will ask is that, how long do you want to do it? So I'm not saying you should not do it, but you cannot be miserable for the next 20, 25 years. It's not reasonable. So what I want you to do is this. Can you get some of your cash flow and invest? Okay? Now, I don't want you to measure your life based on the salary you are making. AI can replace your job. We know what is happening in Washington. A lot of people that are in government jobs that they think they are happy that they will work at the government whatever. Trump came and he was firing everybody. So what I want to do is that, can you have a plan? I will do this job that I don't like, maybe for 10 years, save half of my salary, invest, maybe real estate or stock, get money, and then I can now go to what I like, but still get money for my investment to supplement my need. Those are the things I want you to start considering. Now, so let's go back to the journey to career excellence. So we are back to this picture. One thing I want you to realize is this. I want to look at the quote I put on this. It was said by Rumsfeld. He's dead now. He was a Secretary of Defense during the Iraq War when President Bush Jr. was there. He said, there are no knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns. Let's break it in 3. No knowns. When you want to start a journey, there are things that you know that you have to do. I have to go to school. I have to read do this and do that. That's okay. Those are knowns. You can plan for it. But there are known unknowns. There are some things you know you don't know. For example, let's look at, everybody knows that we don't know when there will be outbreak. If it is outbreak, influenza, that we don't know whether it's going to be severe this year or not, but we have a vaccine for it. We plan for it. We have a way to manage the risk. Okay? Now, the most important thing is that there are unknowns. Nobody knew that there will be COVID in 2020. I was preparing to graduate. I didn't know there will be COVID that will shut everything down. So now, that is what happens on the journey to career excellence. 3 of these happens. There are some things you know that you can plan for. There are some things you don't know, but you know you don't know that you can also plan for. But the curveball is that there are some things that will happen that you don't know. So what, as a Christian, what are we asking to do? Don't embark on the journey without having a guide. And the most important guide that you can have is God himself. So I will encourage you, don't start pursuing, just like David. Even it is legitimate for him when they took all his family to pursue, it was still there. God, should I pursue? You should know when to pursue. You should know where to pursue. And you need to rely on God for that. You cannot take God out of the equation. Some people do, but it can be very miserable. As a Christian, we have added advantage. We cannot focus on studying only. People in the world, they can concentrate on doing. There are people at Harvard University, there are people all over the university in China that are working on the same problem I'm working at. They have more time than me. I have to go to church. I have to take care of my family. But what can give me an upper hand, because I have God? I can say, God, I don't understand this problem. Can you help me? So, but what I also want you to do is that because you have God does not exempt you from hardship. In fact, the Bible says that when we pass through the water, the promise we have is that God is going to be with us. You are not exempted from passing through in fact, Christ was in the ship when there was storm. So what I'm trying to tell us is that don't be afraid of storm. What you should be afraid of is that if God is not with you when you're passing through the storm. So, and I want us to also know that hardship cannot be an excuse for inactivity. You cannot see that because it's too hard. My daughter, whenever we ask her to do something, I'm teaching her some problems in math, it's too hard. That is not an excuse for you not to try. So let's move on. Also, beside God, there are also smaller guides that you can rely on. One of them is that you should learn from successful people in our chosen career. You should be knowledgeable. Knowledge is the currency. You should read about those people you want to emulate. People in your career, how do they do it? Pick up a book. Listen to podcasts about the business you want to go into. Not only that, information is the key to transformation. Those who know will ultimately rule over those who don't know. People that are ruling now started planning for it 30 years ago. And what I want us to also know is that what you know determines how far you go. So next, we should also learn from people that have mentored other successful people. We have leaders among us. You can talk to them. I want to do this. If you cannot help me, can you lead me to somebody that have done it before? And finally, you should, as I'm saying, you should learn from people that can be critical and still be caring. So that can give you constructive criticism about what you are doing. Next, when you are now on this journey, what should be your attitude? Attitude, most of us have listened to Pastor Kumi demonstrate that attitude is 100%. So what should be your attitude? Because of our time, I will rush through this. You must be relentless, like Jacob. A lot of people have read about a prayer of Jacob. Jacob was relentless. He knew what he wanted. It's either God bless me or Esau was going to kill me. So you have no alternative. You cannot take no for an answer. You have to push. Push is that persevere until something happens, until you achieve career excellence. You need to persevere. There is no alternative. And also, you must embrace the process. You cannot, when you meet a valley on the way, you cannot run back home. It's not possible. Why? Because you acquire skills to be great and to sustain greatness during this journey. There are two examples I want us to look at, or three. 2/3 of people that won lottery were broke in 3 to 5 years. Why? They did not have skills to manage their resource, the money they run into. Because there's a skill to make money and there's a skill to manage money. So there's a skill to be successful and there's a skill to remain successful. You learn it during the process in which you are working towards your career. Also, 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth in the second generation because their kids, they did not have the skills their parents have to make and to manage the money. By third generation, the money is all gone. So, okay, we have a few moments. Thank you. Now, also, great men create good times, while weak men create tough times. So, because weak men did not have the skills of the great men that create good time. So, now, next. So what other things you know on the journey? There will be shortcoming, but it's not necessarily fatal. Learn from it and move on. Also, you should celebrate small wins. You're on your way, you get your bachelor degree, celebrate it. You want to go into entrepreneurship, the first $10 you make through your business, celebrate it. The next $20, celebrate it. The next 1 million, or you have a career, you start with 50,000, you save some money, you have an investment that is growing, the first 100,000 in your investment, celebrate it. You have a rental property, celebrate it. Okay, celebrate it. And you can update your career excellence. When you get to a position in your career, you can define another excellence, what you need to aspire to, but don't water it down. Don't water it down. Next, you cannot compare yourself to anybody, because comparison is a thief of joy. Don't run other people's race. I will not compare what my brother is doing to what the joy, because suppose God has given me success in one area, because I see that my brother is doing better than me, then instead of me being grateful for what God has given me, I am sad. That is not good. You'll be miserable on this journey to excellence. Next, it is possible to be exhausted and disinterested in the journey. What I encourage us to do is that we should have a mini retreat to recharge. We should step back, take a vacation, look at review what you have done so far. If you need to seek counsel, seek counsel. Next. So let me now, finally, in 1 minute. What about when you read the summit, the summit, you have your career, you are doing fine. What should you do? One thing I want us to know is that when we are pursuing career excellence, we are on the offense. We are taking risk. We are charging. Our focus is on it. That is good. But the moment, okay, sorry, let me quickly, the moment we get it, we need to also don't take any necessary skill anymore. We need to innovate unless we become obsolete. We need to continually learn and personally develop ourselves. We need to learn, unlearn, and relearn. We need to update or be updated. We need to embrace change and don't be terrified of change. We need to mentor other people too. You need to inspire new generation, or you will inspire. We need to know that when we mentor people, we get paid back mentally and physically. And finally, we can also pursue new challenges. That is the end of my talk. I will be excited to answer our questions in the general room. We can